Hi, this is Coach Johnson, IYC Coaching. In my quest to make you happier, healthier, harder to kill, I am joined by my very special guest, my Krav instructor, one of my mentors, Mr. Itay Gil. And one of the things we talked about in the last few days was the importance of resiliency, not only in martial arts and self-defense, but in everyday life. So if Mr. Gil would be so kind to maybe expand on that to give us some more insight.
Well, first of all, thanks for having me.
My pleasure.
And I would say that resilience is a very wide word. People think of it as like something magic, but it actually comes from a mental attitude. So for example, we must fail a lot in order to be successful. There is no such thing as someone wakes up in the morning and he always gets everything right. It can be in relationships, it can be in training, it can be in everything we do in order to thrive, to be better and happier. My world is a little bit different because I'm ex-military, and for those who know my activities, I train a lot of personnel in that kind of field, and we always want to measure how will they perform under stress. The performance under stress is only achievable if I can condition someone's mental to be more resilient. See what I'm saying? So what came before, the egg or the chicken? So for example, years ago, I think it was 2015, we did a great television show with British television, BBC, and it was called Hell Week, where we took 30 world-class athletes. Can they survive 14 days of Special Forces boot camp? And why am I mentioning to you this story? Because each one of his own right is like a world-class competitor. There was guys that were like world-class boxers, athletes, ultra runners, marathon, sprinters, swimmers, just name it. Really, really gifted and skilled people. And even though I would say for their narrow spectrum, if you're an ultra runner, marathon runner, weightlifter, bodybuilder, whatever it was, they did possess unique sets of skills that make them world-class champions, because their motivation to be the number one or be the highest level as possible is like, wow, way above average. So they're already in the category of a very small percentage of people. But what's fascinating is when, for example, we gave them military tasks. So for example, you took a guy who's a marathon runner and you gave him very heavy loads to carry up the mountains, swimming in the cold water, doing all these physical tasks that most people do not know how to do. For example, reading a map. Can you read a map and navigate? So just being a gifted athlete would not be good enough if you can read a map. If you couldn't handle firearms and weapons, wouldn't be good enough. How are you in teamwork? Maybe you're not a social guy. You're on your own. You run long distance marathons, or you're a sprinter, bodybuilder, boxer, but you're a solo guy. You do not know how to work in a team. And all of these things, when they were put under pressure, lots of people collapsed. Some people didn't cope with heights. So we did rappelling drills. They just didn't cope with heights. So the question is, what does it take a person to want to do real extreme stuff? Or even our field, what does it take to be healthy and happy? Like real simple things. So I published an article a while ago and I called it, Is Your Barometer Calibrated for Happiness? For stress. So when people in our society today complain about I didn't have enough likes or smileys, or they depend their happiness based on materialistic stuff, so they go and buy stuff they'll never use. This young generation is not able to cope with extreme stress. I think our being parents is a part of the thing that we raise our kids to be very soft. They're not okay with receiving criticism. Mm-hmm. Lots of the young generation is not treating their bodies well. They don't eat clean. They grow up as to be adults with overweight and a very low self-esteem. So before you want to talk about military and combat skills and fighting skills, I would say the first line of defense would be that how do I condition myself to be happy, and from being happy, even if I fail and I feel frustration, I wake up and I go again and again and again to achieve that goal. It can be a musician playing the violin. It can be a chef that wants to be a real high-end cook. It can be a baker. It can be an athlete. It can be Krav. Are we around people that push us up and not drag us down? Are you around people that motivate you and inspire you? It is so easy to get dragged into a real bad company and get involved in problems that will lead to a criminal record, and then that will make it a challenge.
Yes, sir.
Are we good parents? When I talk about my children, for example, they see me wake up every day. During the COVID, I wake up every day early in the morning and I hit the gym. Hitting the gym every morning, and my friends ask me, what makes you so motivated to do this? And I said, well, I'm a role model to my kids. They see I am stubborn, I'm persistent, I don't give up, and I treat my body well, I treat my family well, we don't have bad moods so it's a whole magical thing, like a puzzle. You just can't, do a little bit sports and then eat in front of the television and change channels and eat junk food. And when people say to me, oh, I did overeat a little bit, I'm gaining weight, COVID, lockdowns, all these excuses are avoiding responsibility. But being responsible is a part of the resilience. So, and resilience leads to happiness. There's no other way around it, if you like it or not. We need to deal with failure and say, I want to do better every given day. And that's my message to whoever's listening to us. Do you want to make a difference? Do you want to change? Are you happy the way you are? Most people I talk to, many of them, they have a lot of bad days. Actually, for no reason. I asked them, why do you have a bad day? Oh, whatever reason it is. I said, well, you can piss when you're standing in the toilet straight line. You can get it. You're healthy. You're okay. I mean, just improve your health. So there's so many small things that we need to deal with. If we just smile to people and be nice to people, that's something also that creates happiness. If we have a negative attitude, we need to fix it. So all these things are, in my opinion, what's the journey that makes you to be able to cope with failure? And when you look at, high-end successful entrepreneurs and businessmen, where does that come from? What, you think they had an easy start? Everybody struggled. I can give you several of case studies and research and names of people that have done great, have done well. There are stories of people that come from a broken family, were overweight, and they went to become the most successful, Navy SEALs, and they're inspiring millions of other people. Right. So here you go. That's resilience. That's what it's all about. Can you change your life, and can you inspire maybe others? That's my answer to you.
So for what I'm getting, that resilience is a key element of your mental state, because you have to be able to handle the consequence of not succeeding, because it's going to happen to everybody. It's how I think it's kind of how you frame failure. Is it a learning opportunity, or is it a devastating blow that destroys your life? And this is, in our training, we are used to failure because that's how we learn, and we fail repeatedly. Repeatedly.
Listen, in the military we do, I run high-end training for special forces and commandos, and I'm ruthless in training. I bring them to conditions where they fail almost all the missions and drills. I want them to understand the stress. They need to fail in order to be successful. There is no such thing, you land from a helicopter, you're going somewhere and everything's going to be a garden of roses. It doesn't happen that in real life. So if you're a policeman, the same. Policemen need more training. They need to be more resilient. They need more skills. They need to perform better under stress. Only through that and thousands of times of failing, they will become successful.
Yes, sir.
That's it.
Yeah. All right, guys. So right from my mentor, my Krav Maga instructor, the importance of resiliency, it leads to happiness that keeps your attitude positive. It leads to healthiness that keeps your body healthy and living longer. And of course, it makes you harder to kill because we're learning the skill set. Not only makes our body stronger and more resilient to damage and health problems, but also the ability to help save our lives and loved ones from violence. So it's Coach Jay. Thanks so much for watching. I want to thank Master Itay Gil for joining me today.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for tuning in, and see you soon.